Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, as promised, it's going to be a volatile day. At least that was the promise. It so far is a volatile day and has been a volatile day. The scenarios we discussed in the previous video are still very much relevant, so I just want to give you a quick update about the shorter time frame. Overall, not much happened, even though it's quite volatile on the micro level, but it goes down a bit, it goes up a bit. You know, we're pretty much where we were yesterday. And yeah, we want to just talk about the support levels and possible scenarios here. These are, so again, main thesis is currently that a larger degree fourth wave correction bottomed on the 13th of January. So we discussed that in the previous video and in the last few days. And yeah, also, you know, when we look at our daily time frame chart, which I did in the previous video, feel free to check it out. Then you get an idea of where we are in the larger cycle. But in this video, we just want to focus on the shorter time frame. So I see different possibilities here. But for now, I'm tracking either here a very directly bullish blue scenario, which is nearly obsolete because the yellow count is pretty much doing the same thing. Let me explain. The idea is that in the blue count, we are dealing with a directly bullish 1-2 setup, which found support. We had a rally, but it's coming down again. Okay, so the question is, what is this then? We'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, it should go higher like this, very directly, and hold the 99K level. This would be the blue scenario. And yeah, as I said, in the blue count, we are watching for the price to hold 99K and then move into the next target area above, which we should, you know, reach next anyway in the bullish scenarios, whether it's the yellow count or the blue count. So 99K is key support. It's just that we have it rallied in 3 waves. I think I mentioned in the last video that this looks a bit like a 3-wave move up. So even in the blue count, we might say, well, okay, you know, maybe this all shifted. Maybe this was an overshooting B wave. It can be in the blue count. It can be in the yellow count. The only difference it makes is if it's the blue count, it will have other targets along the way. Yellow count will also have other targets, right? It will just be a bit different. So it's not so important in the very short term to distinguish between them. And I told you that this blue target area up there will also have to be adjusted at some point, depending on whether we're in the yellow or the blue count. But either way, this is the blue zone that should be reached next either way, between 113,166 and 118,550. But overall, we should go, you know, move above it anyway. But there could be some resistance in that area. But yeah, in the blue count, you know, this could still be a wave 2. It looks a bit strange now, this correction, but we're dealing with volatile price action which is caused by some external catalysts. So I always say that external catalysts, they typically don't really change anything, but they can lead to volatility or they can make a move happen faster than it would normally be the case. Well, nothing has changed, right? We just see a little bit of up and down. So if you're scared by these candles, I can only tell you, I mean, nothing's changed really. So I can only tell you, maybe trade smaller, zoom out a bit, leave the trade a bit more space, you know, all these things you can do. Or avoid trading entirely on a day like that. But I mean, it is exciting, it is interesting, but it might just be helpful to trade a bit smaller or leave the trade a bit more space because volatility is crazy at the moment. A bit like a yo-yo or a roller coaster. But yeah, support is still holding. So blue count, in the blue count, we should move next into a 3rd wave into the target zone above, right? So that's the blue count. And then the yellow count, the only difference is that it's a larger wave 1. Instead of the 1-2 setup. All of this is wave 1. And then the wave 2 could technically go all the way down to 92,626. But due to the size, I mean, time-wise, duration-wise, and the proportions, I'm considering that this could be all of the larger wave 2, right? So while it in the short term doesn't really matter, it will have an impact on targets. But I can't really give you a target for yellow wave 3 because we haven't bottomed yet. Okay, we haven't bottomed yet in wave 2, or at least there's no evidence. So once we see a little bit more upside momentum, I will share a target for a possible 3rd wave in yellow. At the moment, it would be, I mean, possibly if that yellow wave 2 has bottomed, we're talking about round about 127K for the yellow wave 3. But again, this is not we don't have a substantial low in place yet, and therefore I can't confirm that. It's just designed to show you that, okay, it might be the larger wave 2 and we should go higher. And if you watched previous videos, then you know that the wave 2 in the yellow count has space all the way down to 92,626. So you might ask, okay, what's the point of having 2 scenarios then? That's the point. Because in the yellow count, the market might move into the lower support area. But if we break below upper support, we can remove blue. All right, so that's the difference. But either way, both are bullish at the moment, so there's at the moment no real change. Support levels are being respected at the moment, but the movements to the upside, they have been quite choppy, which again is not a surprise given the catalysts that we have in the market. All right, and the inauguration, we talked about that already end of last week, that it's going to be a volatile week. So situation hasn't really changed. I hope that gives you, however, a little bit more clarity about the micro action. That being said, don't be too focused on micro price action on a day like that, in a week like that, because it is like a roller coaster. The market seems super nervous, at least on the smaller time frame. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.